So while we're talking about NURBS, I just kind of wanted to talk in general about how you can edit NURBS from curves, from the original curves to generate them. So I've created this little organic shape. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into, oh, got the wrong tool selected there. Let's grab it. I'm going to go ahead and grab it and duplicate it a few times. So let's duplicate it and move it into place. I'll scale it down a little bit. Duplicate again. We'll just move it over a little bit. Scale it in the X direction, and then one more time, duplicate it, and we'll just scale this one down a bit smaller. Cool. So as you can see, I've got these four laid out. I'm going to make a loft NURB real quick. So again, selecting in order, the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. I'm going to hit my loft NURB button up here, and boom, there's my loft. Now, just as a reminder, if you happen to select these out of order, the order that you select them matters. I just did first, third, then second, then fourth. Watch what happens. You get a crazy inside out thing because it tries to go from the first to the third, back to the second, and back to the fourth. So how you select those really matters. So first, second, third, fourth, and there we go. This time it's inside out. I'm always amazed by Maya's ability to, get its UVs wrong and turn something inside out, but I'm going to reverse the direction. There we go. So the beauty of NURBS is that you have these control points, right? So I have all of my original Bezier curves. So if I take, say, this fourth one here, if I go ahead and right-click and go to Control Vertex, you can see, I'm going to just go to full view here, you can see all the originals, right? And if I modify these, like if I click on one and move it, it adjusts the whole NURB. So it's just like a really, useful system, non-destructive editing. Sorry, I clicked off of it there for a second. Control Vertex. Oh, I got the whole thing. Hold on. Back to Bezier 4. You gotta make sure you're on the right thing. So there we go. Control Vertex. But yeah, I can click on any of these and adjust. It doesn't even have to be the first one. I can go say to the second one and right click again and go to Control Vertex. Oh, I got the whole guy on that one. Sorry, bear with me. Sometimes it's hard to get the ones. Let me go ahead and just hide the lofted surface for a second. That way I'm not accidentally clicking on parts that I don't want to click on. Alright, so right click, Control Vertex. There we go. I can adjust these all after the fact, and as long as I have that there, I can bring that back up and preview and see how things are looking. And I can see how I adjust things as we go. So it's just very useful to know you can always go back and continue to adjust those original Beziers, and it'll affect the NURB that you've created. Now, aside from that, you also have these other ways of interacting with the NURB just as kind of a whole instead of just its Beziers. So with the lofted surface there, I can right click on it. We've already talked about isoparms because that's how I would select like this whole ring isoparm and then do a surfaces in a planar to cap that. Oh, didn't like that one, but anyway, that's normally how you would do it. You would choose that isoparm and kind of go from there. Now, I can also click on my lofted surface, and I have control vertexes for this, which is great, right? So I can click on one control vertex and kind of bulge all these different control. They kind of float up above the surface. And you can push and pull on these, and it just kind of identifies all these little influence points, which is really great, right? So I can go ahead and push and bulge out certain areas, and again, kind of customize, and it does a nice like gradation to it with these control vertexes. So you have that method, and then you also have hull, and you can see these hulls are really interesting. You can kind of click through in different zones, and normally, there we go. Now I can get on a hull, and I can push and pull whole little zones of hulls, which is cool. So it kind of clicks on a whole line of them and influences a whole line. I had messed with those vertexes, so if I come down here, it just does that individual line there. See, it's kind of bringing up and down that area. So it's kind of like almost doing like an edge loop and polygonal based editing. Sort of. It's a little bit different. but it brings out that whole row of control vertexes, which is cool. So, there's more things in here, surface points you can play around with, but these don't really work with like editing so much. Um, so we're not going to focus on those right now. But control vertexes, hulls, and then isoparms as we're starting to look at like selecting the edge of an object. And then I should be able to get a planar. Nope, didn't like that. It keeps, I'm not sure why that one's not working right now. Usually if I go to isoparm and click on that, there we go, it's yellow. Huh, is not liking that. I must have edited a little bit too much for the isoparm to be able to do a planar surface right now. But overall, you have a lot of ways to edit your NURBS after you create them, so make sure you right click on them and try out some of these different methods and see what you can come up with. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you.